Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a brand new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S. And today, I'm gonna review it for you guys. Now, about a year ago, I did a video called Here's Why You Should Buy a Two-Door Wrangler, because I personally believe that the two-door configuration is the best version of the Jeep Wrangler that you can buy. And with these 2024 updates, I think that holds truer than ever. So I'll probably end up calling this video something like, Here's Why You Should Buy a Two-Door Wrangler 2. But the second 2 is spelled T-O-O because it would look grammatically incorrect to have two of the same 2's in the title. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Brown Daub Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram on Hecktown Road in Easton, Pennsylvania for allowing me to borrow this vehicle to review. For all your Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram needs, I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. 2024 is a mid-cycle refresh year for the Jeep Wrangler, which means the higher trims get a sportier new grille, but here on the Sport S, even though it's called the Sport, it remains unchanged from the previous model year. Disappointingly, they didn't even add LED headlights. Here you still have halogens and halogen fog lights and incandescent turn signals. Not to say it's not still a sharp-looking Jeep, I just wish it got that minor update in the front like all the other models. The majority of the updates come on the interior of this new Wrangler, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I do want to compliment this exterior front design briefly. There's a few things to point out. Number one, you do get two tow hooks up here on the bumper, and I absolutely love the color of this two-door. It's called Earl Grey. I think it looks fantastic. Let's talk about how to open the hood on the Jeep Wrangler. Now, chances are if you're watching this video, you know how to open the hood. It's kind of a gimmick by now. But I'd be willing to bet that there's at least one guy out there, we'll name him Ted, that has never owned a Jeep before. He's not really invested in Jeep culture, but he's thinking about buying one, and that's why he clicked on this video. And he sure as heck doesn't know how to open the hood. So this segment is gonna be for Ted. Everyone else, you can skip to the next segment. This one's for you, buddy. So, to open up the hood, there is no pull tab inside the Jeep. Actually, you can do it all from the exterior. So you pull this latch down and then you push the hood and that releases a secondary latch. And then we'll go to the other side and repeat the same process. Might have to push the hood down a little bit to release that. And then if we come to the center, this is like a traditional car. You've got to find the little pull and then your hood prop clicks right into there. Moving underneath the hood on this new Wrangler, this particular model is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 270 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And that is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Though a 6-speed manual transmission is also available if you upgrade to the 3.6-liter V6. All right, moving to the profile of the Wrangler. My mic died in the recording of this, and I didn't realize till editing, so I'm gonna dub it. Here with the wheels and tires, you'll get two 45 70R tires around these 17-inch wheels, and I really like that cute little Jeep center cap logo on the wheel. I guess it's not cute. I guess Jeep people would say it's tough. And then over here, you'll have a Wrangler sticker, and then your Jeep logo, and then moving a little further up here you'll have the trail rated badge and then a black plastic mirror cap. It does have heating incorporated into it and it is powered. And then if we move to the door handle, it's black plastic but it has keyless entry, so you can just tap that to lock it and you can open it the other way as well. You don't need to have the key with you. That's very convenient. And a neat little feature I like that they've included on a lot of modern cars. And then moving around the rear of the Jeep Wrangler, this is the hardtop version. There is, of course, a soft top available, but personally, I think the hardtop is the coolest looking. And you can take the front two panels off pretty easily, but this back part is pretty difficult to get off, really a two-man job. Here in the center, you'll have a backup camera incorporated into your spare tire. And I really like that the spare tire is attached to the back. You don't really have a lot of SUVs that do that anymore. You'll have a rear tow hitch right there, and then opening up the rear gate, you can see as we swing this open, there is a little Jeep JL diagram here with the two-door and the four-door configuration. That's a neat little detail. And then opening up the rear glass here, which does have a windshield wiper cleverly integrated. There's a decent amount of space back here, and you have a little blue LED light, but it's like really blue. And then you have a 12-volt right there, and there's some storage underneath. Even though there's not a ton here, you do have spots for door hinges and the roof bolts, which is nice. So if you do want to take that roof off, you don't have to kind of store those bolts specifically. You can put them right in the back of the Jeep. And then this is something I want to talk about. I don't know exactly what I'm saying right here, but I know I've gotten a comment in the past from somebody that was very angry I did not fold the second row seats down. And so I'm going to do that. They were like very adamant I did not do that in my two-door Wrangler review last year. So I am going to listen to my comments. And here we go. This is what the rear seats look like folded down. There's a little pouch of some Jeep products a little in front of the seats, but that's basically what you get. You can lift these seats up, looks like even more, and maybe they fold flat, but that pouch is right there. I think this person just wanted to see the seats down. So there they are. They are folded. So there you go. One person, if you are watching this video a year later, and anyone else that might be curious about the rear storage on this. A very subtle new detail that most people might miss on this new 2024 Wrangler is that they've now incorporated the radio antenna into the windshield. Before we move to the interior, I want to talk about the key fob really quickly. In addition to lock, unlock, and panic, you'll also get remote start, which is nice. And then it says Jeep on the back, pretty standard Jeep key. So standard, in fact, it has a switchblade design. But this is a push button start Wrangler. It does not have a traditional key to plug in. You can see push button start right there. So I looked at this key and I was like, wait, do I have the wrong key at first? But what I imagine this is for the door. If you actually want to manually lock and unlock it, you can do that. It's funny. It's funny. I lock it, but I have the key here, and since it has keyless entry, it just keeps unlocking it automatically. That's kind of funny. That's not to say the key is entirely useless, though. You can lock the glove box and the center armrest storage area with that key. All right, climbing inside the new Wrangler. Man, that door sounds awesome. I love the really bulky click it makes. It is very premium in here, especially from the outgoing model. We'll talk about that infotainment system, which is the largest upgrade in here, in just a minute. But let's start here with the door panel. You'll get your door handle right there, your mirror controls, and lock and unlock. And then down here you have a little graphic of the Gladiator and the Wrangler together. Even if you don't like how the Gladiator looks, you can't escape it in a Jeep product. Then you'll have your headlight controls right here and your brightness and dimmer for the center screen right there. And you will have two traditional dials, your speedometer and tach, and a center screen in here. One thing I think is awesome, there's so many functions built into this, and the one I want to talk about right now is if I turn the wheel, you can see it actually tells you the degree of tilt right there on the screen, and it gives you a live view. I think that's really awesome. Even on this lower trim, you still have a lot of functionality in here. Your tire pressure, of course, your digital speedometer. There's a lot to mess with in here that you can really tool around with, and I like that it gives you all these different options. And then here you'll have kind of a little side addition to that screen that tells you what drive mode you're in, 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low.
Of course, your actual drive mode selector is in the center right there. You can see I just put it in drive, back in park there. And then the steering wheel is really comfortable on here. You have this little kind of like yellowish orange stitching, really, really plush steering wheel. You will have your Bluetooth controls right here, your automatic cruise control, set distance, stuff like that. And then on the back, classic Stellantis, you'll have your channel changing and your volume on there. And then moving over to our screen, massive infotainment system in here, and I love that it's in the two-door. It doesn't feel like a compromise in here. It feels like I have a premium version. And I think one thing that goes along with that is, in addition to the infotainment system, this dashboard feels a lot nicer. Again, yellow stitching in there with the kind of gray cloth, and that continues down here as well. But let's talk infotainment. It is really cool. Look at the CarPlay stretches all the way across this. I don't have a ton of apps on here, but this is what I got. I have all my playlists here, and just the different songs you can listen to. Pretty spiffy, quick CarPlay, and then you can go between all your different contacts and messages and stuff like that. Vehicle modes and such, you have a lot of different options here. And one thing I do like is that there is the option to turn the heated seats and the heated steering wheel on from the infotainment, but there is physical buttons there too. Thank goodness there's physical buttons. I'm really grateful for that. But back to the screen, there's different off-road pages. I was looking through this, not a ton here on the lower trim, but it does still give you a couple of different things that you can look at. I do like that. Look at that. That's so cool. It's like a live view. And then you also do get pitch and roll here, which is super nice. That's like never included on a lower trim vehicle, except here on the Jeep. It's just overall, it's a great infotainment system. I really like it. I think it blends really well with this interior, and it's a much needed upgrade. And I like it in this smaller size Jeep. I think the comfortability and how cool it is, I don't know, it just works. I don't know what it is, it just works, and I really like that. And then below the infotainment, there is two climate vents kind of incorporated into the center stack look. I like that a lot. And then the traditional Jeep buttons, as I mentioned, your heated steering wheel, heated seats are down there, volume and your tuning, as well as your hazards and your traction control off, and hill descent control, which is nice. Then you will have your, not your mirrors, your window controls right there. One touch down, but you do have to hold to go back up because the doors are pretty easily taken off, and so not a lot of functionality built into the doors, though I guess the electronics of the mirrors are built into the doors. And then down here, you will have USB, USB-C, and auxiliary, and a 12-volt right there. And then this is an automatic transmission, not manual, though as I mentioned, it is an option. And then throwing this into reverse, pulling it up on the screen, you can see my tripod is back there. And then if we turn the wheels, you do get guiding lines that turn with the wheels, which is great. I think it's funny, since this does not have the 360-degree camera system, it just says Jeep over there. That's very amusing to me. This is a very crisp screen, though. I really do like the resolution of that. Throwing it back into park. And going down here, you have your 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low right here. Then down here, you'll have 2 cup holders and a manual parking brake. That's nice to see. Almost everything is electronic nowadays, but not here on the Jeep. And then if we open this top storage bin, you have a little cubby with kind of a cool camo design. And then you can open it even further for a USB, more cool camo design, and some extra storage. Up here, it is a traditional mirror, and you do have emergency assist right there. And then this actually has a garage door opener on it, which is nice. I wish I had a garage door to open. And then you can take the roof off by unclipping these guys right here. And then if I was outside, I could remove the roof. Let's do another Ted moment. We'll show Ted how to remove the roof. All right, Ted, here's how to take off the roof. So once you've unlatched those 4 latches, you're right here standing next to it. You put your hand in the center, and it's just gonna pop right up. Now, normally, if you're actually gonna leave this off long term. I like to store these in the back, like opening it up, but just for the video's sake, I'm gonna rest it right here. And then it is the same process to remove the other side. Here we are in the back seats of the Wrangler. I have this seat positioned just about where I would sit at 5'9", and I have maybe two inches of leg room, and a decent 2 or 3 inches of headroom. I will say I bumped my noggin on the speaker bar right here getting in, because it is pretty cramped. To at least get back here, it's pretty difficult. Once you're here, if there's only 2 people sitting in the back, which really there's only spots for 2, I can't imagine this would be like terrible. You have like a decent amount of open area over here, nice little armrest, and you do get climate vents and cup holders, so it's not like totally terrible back here. Though admittedly, you know, it's maybe a 4-door Wrangler's better if you have a big family. Fine, I said it. But I do think the look and the style of the 2-door Wrangler, in addition to that parking circle, really makes it the Wrangler, like the definitive Wrangler, even though the Wrangler Unlimiteds recently have kind of overtaken this 2-door in popularity. Driving the 2-door Wrangler, let's see how this thing does on acceleration. Yeah, it takes a second to get going, but it flies. Wow, this is nice. And then braking and slow down is nice as well. Yeah, it's comfortable. I think the big reason I like the 2-door over the 4-door is it's cozier. It just feels a lot snug, a lot more snug in here. And I like that. I like the little cab, the little interior. I like its little form factor, how easy it is to park. But it's still kind of brawny. I would recommend it. If you're looking at a Wrangler, look for the 2-door. Well, that's just about gonna wrap up my review of the Jeep Wrangler, but before I go, I'd like to mention that I am a Christian, and if you have any prayer requests, I would love to be able to pray for you guys. You can leave those in the comment section below. And lastly, I'd like to close out on a weekly scriptural reading. This week's is Psalm 19, verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care.